Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of the Non-Native Leader, my video podcast series where we talk to non-native English speakers who are currently having an international career. My name is Daniele and I'm the host of the podcast. If you follow the series, you've seen we've spoken to NGO leaders, IT leaders, leaders in fintech, leaders in finance, commercial, but also the arts, movie makers. I like talking to people and I like talking to people from various industries. And I am happy to have here with me Gydion Kommer, who's in a, again, new industry, but I don't know, as I said, I don't want to spoil it too much as usual. So Gydion, you're very welcome and thanks for joining me.
Thanks a lot. Great chatting with you, Daniel. I'm Gideon, and just a quick introduction, I guess.
Yes, exactly. Tell us, who are you?
Yes. Okay, I run a couple of coaching programs, business and marketing coaching programs for teachers, for language teachers specifically. And I also have an app, a software business service for teachers as well, helping them with all the things they need in terms of tech. So these are the things I do. I am originally from Brazil. I am living in Japan right now, Osaka. I guess that's
Okay, so you're stretching from one side to the other of the world.
yes,
It's a plan to
exactly.
complete the circle.
I get yeah, it's kind of maybe it's like at first maybe as far as possible, then I guess it's
Okay.
all over the place.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Gideon. Yeah. So this is, as I always say, this is the spirit, right, of the non-native leader. So to try and cover
Mhm.
as much as possible of the world of the spectrum. So you said, okay, coaching business and helping teachers. Mm, why would you
Hmm.
want to help teachers? Well, why do we need help?
Fantastic. Well, I the thing is for if you want to start your business, so a lot of the teachers they are great at teaching. I know that because I was a teacher for 10 years, so I know kind of the trajectories and how it goes, how you develop yourself professionally. And you're definitely you can be very good at teaching. You have all this experience, certificates. But if you want to start your own business, meaning if you want to stop working for a school and start working for yourself, you're gonna you're gonna come against some roadblocks, which is how do I get clients? How do I establish myself as a business? All those things the school they do, they have a marketing team, they have a way of organizing themselves. You have to develop those things yourself. And those are skill sets that are not very easy, that are quite can be very challenging. So you can try and do things yourself, and you will maybe get some success, not so consistent success, or not. But generally speaking, you might as well just learn from someone who is ahead of you, or do it's like it's very normal. You take a course and you learn, and you have assistance as well because it's challenging. It's like growing your business, your marketing, and plus there's the tech side of things. If a lot of people are not really tech, they don't like the tech part, which is having a website, email systems, and all of that. So then that's how the service came about, which is after I gained some experience, I started testing with teachers. Okay, I have experience in this career. Now I'm going to combine my knowledge of marketing and business with that and start developing. And it turns out, yeah, it's much needed and also fun to do. So
Nice. Okay, so it's yes. Now that you mention it, I think more like many teachers do need help. You know, we always think, no, we don't need help. But then, yeah, when you put it this way, of course we do. The technology, the marketing, these are normally new things for teachers.
right, and just to compliment on that, it's not a problem for teachers. I mean, marketing and business is tough for any business and marketing. Have any business, it's like
Yeah.
the hardest thing is go get clients and go grow and develop. If it was easy, but it's not. So it's something. It's a bit of a science and an art at the same time. So it's good to have
Yes.
assistance and to learn from others, like with anything.
Absolutely. And it's not easy to find a good balance, I suppose. So, like, how much do I invest in delivery? How much do I invest in marketing? And I end up being stuck, stuck in the middle. So not doing anything. Yeah. But
Yeah,
obviously, this is something that, yeah, people do. It's kind of a mindset business
It,
entrepreneur
uh,
mindset that
it
people want
is.
would want
Sometimes,
to develop. Yeah.
exactly. Sometimes people are stuck in that idea of, oh, if I'm good at what I do, I should grow. People should come to me. It's not really the case with anything. If you're good at baking bread, it doesn't mean you're gonna have a lot of customers. You have to also develop the other side of things. I like to think of you have two legs. One is as a practitioner, your craft. The other is your business and marketing side of things. And I mean, it happens with everything, especially people in the arts. Sometimes, oh, I'm an artist. I don't do any of the business marketing. Somebody's going to come and find me, and it's just not the case in real life. So, yeah, we do need to develop these skills.
Absolutely. Okay. That's a nice one. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I love talking to people from different backgrounds, you know? Yeah, you're a teacher, but not really a teacher. So yes,
Mhm.
it's intriguing. Now, you mentioned challenges. You mentioned Brazil, you mentioned Japan. Okay, this is interesting for me, yeah, because traveling around the world, having international experiences, uh, as you said, it comes with challenges. So, I suppose you're very international. You are, I don't know, global citizen. I don't know how you want to define yourself, but like
Yeah.
what has been the main challenge for you in your
Mm.
journey, I would say?
Well, I think I am living outside of my country for 10 years now, 10 years pretty much exactly now. And so I can think of one challenge, the challenges that come and go. So maybe I would say, maybe I could speak to two different occasions or challenges that kind of shaped everything and changed my worldview, or if you can say it like that. And one is the experience, my first experience actually living in the US was the challenge was culture shock and the language barrier as well. I thought I knew English, and it turns out my English was not good enough. And also the culture shock. And it's funny now looking back, after visiting countries you would consider as exotic or very different, and now looking back, I guess the US was the biggest culture shock. And there's a reason for that. I think one is it was my first experience. I was very green, but also I think maybe I was expecting to know, or I was assuming a lot of things because I watched the movies. I know what's gonna happen. It turns out it's a totally different culture and people and country. So that
Yeah.
was one experience that was kind of a change everything. The other was when I started working for myself, developing this business. I went there, I established my service. I'm gonna do. I was actually doing Google ads and Facebook ads, and it's like advertising for IT companies. I develop my skills and I craft my offer now. And when it comes the moment of selling it, I wanted to sell to mainly Americans in English in those markets. And I had the challenge was maybe a mindset challenge, which was I don't think this is ever gonna work for me because of my background. At that point, I was confident in my language skills, but maybe it's only vain because I'm gonna be doing these things and there's a glass ceiling and people are always gonna be declining my services politely and saying no, thanks, just because of I talk like that, I look like that, and I had that fear anyway. It took me, I don't know, a few months to completely get over it. So I guess those are the two
Yeah.
main experience I could
Wow.
say.
Okay. Okay. So two different challenges. Yeah. So the first one you mentioned was language and culture. The second you mentioned was more like mindset challenge.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice. Okay, let's
Yeah.
backtrack. So going back, yeah, to your first challenge, this is an interesting point because it's one point that people mention very often. So going to the US or working with the American market and realizing that yes, it's not really easy to adjust. And I don't know, we kind of give it for granted because yeah, we watch the movies, as you said. We
Yeah.
we listen to the music. We have, I don't know, KFCs and McDonald's everywhere. So
Yeah.
yeah, we know
Can't be
America,
that different.
don't we? And then you go
Yes.
there and say, okay, wait a second. America is a complex world. It's a complex country. It's actually not even a country. It's like a federation. So there is
Mm.
differences and so like you got there and you felt first you had like these issues with the language and then the culture. So what kind of emotions were you feeling
Mm.
back then? So how did you feel really?
Well, first, I guess frustration of um with the language problem was frustrating because it was like, oh, you're talking to someone, you realize it's taking them 3 seconds to process what you're saying, and it's and every time you say something, they say back, where are you from? And then you notice, okay, they didn't understand what I'm saying, and now they just want to change the subject and get out of here. And it was, yeah, there was that, but okay, that you just, I mean, you got to go through that. The cultural shock was frustration as well sometimes, and a bit of resistance. It's like, why things need to be like that? That doesn't make sense. When you have that kind of a, this is, and everything is different. It's from, I don't know, you can't cross the road. You're jaywalking. It's not legal. You can't drink outside. I was in my 20s. I was like, oh, that doesn't make sense. The way people drive, and even like the social interactions was everything really different. So you sit in class, I'll turn to someone, start talking, and they're like, oh, we don't know each other. So why we, that kind of a social, it was awkward in many occasions. So every turn, there was like a different thing that I was noticing. I was like, wow, this is so fascinating and interesting, but sometimes uncomfortable. So
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
if you're just a spectator, it's fine. Oh, look, this is interesting. Oh yeah, I could totally study that. But when it's actually your life,
yes,
it does feel a bit
yeah,
different, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so
Something like that.
frustration, culture shock, the
Mhm.
differences. And I mean, what was the turning point for you back then?
Oh yeah, getting out of that. I think within processing that, I think, a trip is over when you return, when you come back. I think returning to my country and experience the reverse culture shock and experience like, wow, okay, this doesn't make sense either. People are, what kind? You can't live like that. It's crazy. So, and then it makes sense.
True.
It's like, okay, it's like ripping this band-aid of, oh, stop us. There isn't one way to live life. There's people just live in a different way. And it's funny
Yes.
because after that, I visited countries that were way more different. I lived in Turkey, in Istanbul, and then in Asia. And I never felt that cultural shock again. I guess because you become open to, okay, I'm not assuming anymore. I know it's going to be different. And it's okay. But you
Yeah.
stop being frustrated. So, yeah, I guess coming back and then continue traveling, you just don't feel like that anymore. I think if I go back to the US, probably, yeah, it's a totally different experience.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
wasn't,
Yeah, I love this point. Like the turning point is when you go back to your own country and you realize, wait, wait a second.
yes.
It is different. And then, yeah, I suppose everything becomes a bit more like relative in a way. So you can see, okay, we do things like this here. They do things like that there. There is not only one way we can,
Yeah.
I mean, different people answer in a different way, I suppose.
I think
And
it's very liberating
mm,
because then you stop thinking, oh, you know, all these rules people are saying, like from anything, you match your socks with your shorts in this way. It's like, no, who said that? Or you should like you start kind of a thinking, yeah, you get rid of all these rules.
yes,
And somebody says, oh, you should do this. Yeah, I don't think so. I
yeah,
know other countries where people don't do that at all and they're living really fine.
exactly. There's
So
not
yeah,
only one way of doing things. Yes. And so I suppose we should ban the word should from
yeah, yeah,
from our at least from our approach. Yeah. So oh no, you should. Well, not
yeah,
really. We could we could do this or we
yeah,
could do that, and things turn out to be working anyway for people. So
yeah,
that's an amazing one. And this has a lot to do with mindset. You travel around, you build a new mindset, which incidentally is the second challenge you mentioned. So the change of mindset when decided, I don't know, to can we call it like the leap of faith? So decided to have your own business and to do things differently. So
Yeah.
how did that affect you in terms of, yeah, as you say, of mindset?
Yeah, that's also, it was huge. It was, yeah, it's a leap of faith, exactly. Because when I was learning, I remember it's like one of the programs they even mentioned, like if you, this program is for a native English speaker, that was part of their marketing message. I took it anyway. So it's like, I think I can do that. But I had that in the back of my mind. It's like, this is not going to work. And because I didn't see anyone who was like me, and you saw other people succeeding, but of course they look different. They're different. So I had that, but I didn't want to believe that I still want to try and do, but I was really scared that that was not going to be the case. And then I guess overcoming that, or the turning point for that, would be the evidence that it's working. It's like you keep doing it and then starts working, and then you can fight with the evidence. So the first, business is hard. So trying out a client is hard for anyone. Sales is hard already. So on top of that, I had that doubt. It's never going to work for me. But once you have, I think my first client was actually an Australian lady, and and I was like, wow, I can't believe like people trust me. This is insane. It's like, you know, and then it happened a few more times, and they were all this in English companies, like proper companies, IT companies, and it was not people doing this to help me or anything. It was like, this is business, and they're sending me the money, so it's very real. It's the evidence, and and then you stop thinking, okay, yeah, that's it was just in my mind. That's if they don't people don't care at all, or yeah.
Yeah.
So it was just doing it, and then I don't even think about it.
Yeah, it is. I can obviously relate to that because it feels awkward, but at times you actually have to convince yourself. So you have to pile up evidence and go in front of a mirror and say, "Look, this is evidence." So
Yeah.
you can do it, and then you go, "Yes, of course, there is evidence." So people want to work with me, and yeah,
Yeah,
but
we all think we are special. Like it's not for I'm special. For me. It's never gonna work. You start your podcast. If I have a problem. There's something special about me that's not gonna work. But then you start doing, and you see, oh, people watching this audience. The feedback is good, and then it can't. That little voice cannot. Doesn't mean anything anymore.
yeah, I am going to talk to my to myself later on and say, see. But no, I mean,
Yeah.
jokes apart, it's just it is the way it works. It's a slow process, but yes, you kind of have to convince yourself, but not in a fake till you make it way. I don't really believe
No.
in that, but in a way that, yes, as you were said, you have evidence, and people are reacting. There is proof that you can do things. So stop worrying and keep doing things.
Exactly. Do it anyways. I think real evidence is just much better than any kind of affirmation you can make or reading up. I didn't read a book to prove anything. I just get people to, so real. It's like people are sending you money. They are saying, yeah, thanks. Hey, sign up again. It's like it's not something you can convince yourself.
Wow, great. So language, culture, mindset, these are all key words, and this is something that I always work on with people because I believe it all starts there. No, you are in
Mhm.
Japan, so your life, your situation, your career has changed. I can see that. And so how do you feel today?
How do I feel today? Well, I felt like in what relates to this talking points of the challenge, I feel those, I mean, I'm so grateful, and I'm so glad and grateful that I went through those things. And I believe everyone should experience that cultural shock. A shock is a bad thing. A shock is not a warm shower. It's painful, but it wakes you up from living in this very rigid, full of rules life. And then I think it's the best thing ever. It's like, oh, now I know I'm not a prison in this prison of how to live life. And yeah, the other thing as well is just there isn't anything holding you back in terms of, at least that's my experience. that in terms of that voice, oh, because of your background, because of your language, uh, because of your accent, things are not going to work for you. I think, yeah, I couldn't. I mean, that's it's really awesome that that happened. And now, well, I feel pretty happy with how things are going. I mean, I like living internationally. I like living a life like this. I sometimes I don't even think it's international. You know, this idea of home, going back home. Sometimes people ask. I think I stopped thinking in terms of that. I think home is where, I mean, things are familiar. You're familiar with the place and you feel good in that place. So it is, you stop thinking in terms of, or my city or even my
Mhm.
country is, you can be in very different locations for many years and just feel pretty at home.
It's good. Yeah, like it. I guess, as I said, global citizen. That's something that I truly, truly love. Yeah. Gideon, we're towards the end of our chat. So I usually like to close with recommendations. So people are watching and some people are might be thinking, okay, I want to have an international experience, or I want to stay where I live now, but I want to work internationally. So
Mhm.
what would be like recommendations from you to them?
Well, yeah, I would say, well, the first thing is language is important. It's not important in the sense that, like having an accent, those things, you know, this doesn't matter. It's really, it's not going to stop you from anything. But knowing the language, communicating with clarity and to a certain degree, it's really important. And I think it's like, I feel like knowing English, for example, is the international language. And knowing English, if I didn't know English, it was would be similar to not having a smartphone, not having a Wi-Fi. It was like it's so would be so crippling and it would be so limiting not to know the language. So yeah, be very good at that. It's like learning the language is it's a lot of work, but I think it pays off big time. It's changed your life forever. And second step, I think just I don't know, I don't know, say just do it, but I want to say um people outside the there's a lot of people you can connect to in the world. You know, there's you can make friends everywhere you go. There is people are curious and they're interested in you. And I think living outside of your country is very exciting and interesting. But you're gonna meet a lot of people, locals, but also people living outside of their country too, who you can share this experience. And there's lots of people living like that, pretty much everywhere. So I think that's what I would say. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, we're going back to the keyword language, culture, and in a way, mindset. Because language, learn a language, learn an international language. Culture, connect with people. So there is a lot of people around who are experiencing, who
Mhm.
have similar experiences, or who have similar desires, similar dreams. And I'd say, yeah, mindset. So just open, rather than close. That's at least that's the way I see it. And the way you explained it, it really resonates because in a way this is, I mean, my personal experience that completely changed my approach, when I started connecting with people around. And you really realize that, yeah, we are similar. We have similar dreams, aspirations, and so, yeah, let's go
Yeah,
get let's go get it. Let's talk and let's open, let's communicate.
I think for me it's all about the people. And once you establish those connections and you make your life, it's like the people around your life is a certain type of people. The language comes pretty fast. You're so interested, like having a connection with people is so powerful and important that your language is going to come. So if you find it's hard to learn language where you are, maybe because it's missing the people's part, having when you have career or friends where, for example, you speak English, you're going to accelerate so fast because it's so meaningful. You can't wait. You're running towards that because it's so interesting. So it's all about people in the end, and to a point where sometimes you don't even remember what language you're speaking, right? You're just it's about the interactions, and those
Absolutely.
things become. Yeah,
So put people back in your language.
exactly.
Yes, I love this. Yeah, we should frame a new slogan, it's all about people. So connection. Yes, I absolutely agree with you, Gideon. Okay. So before closing, do you want to tell people like if people want to connect with you, where can they find you?
All right. So there is my website is www.gideonkuhlman.com. So maybe you can add some note or something. There
Yes,
is,
we'll put it in the
and from
comments.
there you can find pretty much in terms of what I do. I'm also very active on LinkedIn. So that's my main social media place. If you want to engage in our discussions there. So there's discussions every week, and I'm really happy to connect. Just send a connection request. And other than that, is I'm really open to having a chat. Anyone who wants to have a 15-minute intro chat, just book a call on from my LinkedIn or from my website. And I guess that's it.
Wow, thank you. Yes, so people do connect with Gideon and even just for a chat, as he said, because he's been traveling around the world and I'm sure he's plenty to share there. Okay, so thank you very much for listening to us, for watching if you're watching, and for sticking around in general. And I will see you in the next episode.